Good morning, everyone. Hope you had a fabulous Easter and you got to get outside into the weather. In Sydney, it's been a cracking good weekend weather-wise, and we're just starting to notice a chill in the air. Pretty too cold for me already. So we are having the annual birthday fest for my husband and son. So last night for my husband's birthday, we set up a restaurant. We printed menus. We had waitresses that seated him and got him drinks. We all got dressed up like we were going out to a restaurant. It was a really fun night, and it made it really memorable for my husband. So even though we couldn't get out, we managed to do things at home. So you can check it out on my stories on Facebook and Instagram. So tonight we're celebrating my son's 19th birthday. We're not sure what we're doing for that yet. So look for ways to make an event that's fun. And I think that's really important now more than ever when we are stuck inside doing the same thing over and over again. So it's just a way to break that monotony up. So those of you who are new to the page, I'm Ange Sinclair and I'm the Digestive Detective. Today for Transformation Tuesday, I'm talking about Jan. So Jan's a 49-year-old female that had chronic diarrhea for more than 15 years. She had fatigue, she was diagnosed with IBS-D, which means diarrhea, and also she had been diagnosed with osteopenia. So she thought it was time to take action. So Jan was tired of her gut ruling havoc over her social life. She always had to ring restaurants before she got there to find out what she could actually eat. She would often eat hours before she left so that she could go out so she could have control over her bowel, sort of. In exclamation marks, she told me. She found that she was constantly hungry, and that's just due to the food literally passing through her in a couple of hours. What Jan hadn't factored in with all this association of her, the diarrhea was the association with her bone density. In fact, she was pretty shocked when she was diagnosed with osteopenia. So osteopenia essentially is where you have had a bone density test and you're not quite in osteoporosis, but your bones are starting to noticeably thin. So this often happens in diarrhea as you don't absorb the nutrients. Because of that quick transit time, you're not having enough time to absorb the actual nutrients you need. So Jan didn't want to go back to her doctor to have the testing done, so I organised the testing. So the things I tested for were celiac disease, vitamin D, thyroid, and just general bloods. And those things are all really important at ticking boxes to make sure that she doesn't have a parasite. So a PCR test I did as well, that her thyroid's not working too fast, that she hasn't got celiac disease. I have seen it with people who have this has been missed for a long time. The only downsides of clients having to do the test with me is that they have to pay for them, and it's not funded by Medicare or the government. So the upside for Jan though is we could order exactly the test that we need to see for what was going on for her. Sometimes when I talk to people about what they need and they go back to their doctor's sometimes a little bit reluctant to do the test. So it was a really great way to get exactly what we needed. So in Jan's first consultation, she mentioned that she has this pain that tightens around her ribs and it comes and goes. So I often hear this in patients with SIBO. So SIBO is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So SIBO can cause diarrhea or constipation. And what happens is that generally from a translocation of bacteria from your large bowel up into your small bowel. Now we do have bacteria in our small bowel, but it's not super huge amounts. So when this happens, it can happen from lots of things: overconsumption of carbs, medications, the pill, having had food poisoning, if you've had an operation. Hi, Deb Fowler. In about 80% of the cases of people that have IBS, they also have SIBO. So when I was taking Jan's case, I asked her, had she ever had a case of food poisoning? And it was interesting because initially she said no, but then right at the end she said to me, I think I had this time I had food poisoning and I had a soft serve ice cream and I hadn't really thought about that. She said I was really sick from eating it. So we organised a SIBO test. So it's an at-home breath test that you can take over a period of 2 days because I get you to do 2 sugars. You have to follow a diet the day before and then of the day of the test. And you take the sugar substrate and then you breathe into little test tubes every 20 minutes for 3 hours. Super simple test to complete. And the results tell you whether you're hydrogen dominant or methane dominant bacteria species, and one generally causes diarrhea and the other causes constipation. This is the perfect test to do at home right now because you're not going anywhere. So with Jan, we used a special diet and a 90-day protocol with herbs and supplements to help her get through the symptoms. She noticed in the first 3 weeks a significant change to her bowel patterns, but not just the frequency, but the urgency as well. And the thing that if you talk to anybody that has diarrhea, they will talk to you. It's not so much the diarrhea, it's the problem. It's the urgency that's the problem. And that urgency comes with a lot of anxiety. So once you really need to be at the bathroom, when you really need to go to the bathroom, you really need to go. So it really massively influences your social life. So that's problematic. And I've had a few new bowel clients at the moment saying that the isolation has been the best thing for not only their bowel but for their anxiety level, because they've been able to do the diet really easily because they're at home. It's a really unsocial diet, so if you have any issues, now's the time when you don't have to leave your house to be able to get on top of them. So I have been working with Jan for more than 6 months on her health. The SIBO has gone in about 90 days, and we're currently working on her diet and the osteopenia. So I have a really special interest in osteopenia and osteoporosis after having both of them in my mid-30s and using diet to reverse them. I still have a little bit of osteoporosis in my spine, but my hip went from being totally osteoporotic now to being a normal, healthy hip. And I did this just with diet. I didn't actually even take supplements at the time. Diet and exercise. So I love helping others with osteoporosis and osteopenia. So I am still consulting via Zoom or even over the phone for some people. So I'm here to help. So get in touch if you've got any questions. So in my Facebook group this week, we will have the lovely Erica Webb, who is talking about bloating and yoga poses for bloating and gas, essentially. So if you would like to get into the group, just go to Facebook and find Love Your Guts group. And if you're on my mailing list, I have a really, really super gift for you this week. And if you're not, you want to get on it, so do that. Have a fantastic week, everybody, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.